Okay, Shivrajan.
Okay.
Please start. Yeah.
Yes. धन्यवाद कपिल. सगळ्यांना खूप खूप थँक्यू तुम्ही या सेशनसाठी आलात. डेटा स्टोरी टेलिंग म्हणजे आता आपल्यापैकी बरेच जण प्रेझेंटेशन बनवून प्रोग्रामचं अपडेट, प्रोजेक्टचं अपडेट देत असतात आणि तेच प्रेझेंटेशन्स शेअर करून थोडासा कंटाळाही आला असेल. सो त्याच प्रेझेंटेशनला मे बी अगदीच खूप नेक्स्ट लेवलला नाही पण थोड्याफार फरकाने काही बदल करून बघता येतील का असा एक अँगल देण्याचा विचार म्हणून हा डेटा स्टोरी टेलिंगचा सेशन. आता स्टोरी टेलिंग म्हटलं की सगळ्यांनाच खूप छान छान आठवणी असतात, लहानपणीच्या आजीच्या गोष्टी किंवा म्हणजे माझ्यासाठी तर साने गुरुजींच्या गोड गोड गोष्टी पण खूप छान आठवणींचा भाग आहे. त्याच्यामुळे स्टोरी म्हटली की माझ्यासमोर खूप काही चित्र येतात आणि म्हणूनच मी पण अशाच एका गोष्टीपासून सुरुवात करणार आहे. माझी गोष्ट माझ्या शाळेतली, जिथे मी मुलांना शिकवत होतो 2 वर्ष, आणि आज जवळजवळ 4 वर्षानंतर त्या शाळेकडे, त्या विद्यार्थ्यांकडे बघताना मला हा प्रश्न पडलाय, डिड आय फेल ॲज अ टीचर? Did I fail as a person who left some job and joined this new role of a teacher? And did I fail to give justice to what I thought of? Did I give justice to what students deserved? असे बरेच प्रश्न आता माझ्या डोक्यात आहेत. थैमान चालू आहे या सगळ्या विचारांचं आणि हाच प्रश्न घेऊन मी तुमच्याशी बोलणार आहे. तर डेटा स्टोरी टेलिंगकडे जाण्याआधी आपण थोडंसं समजून घेऊया की डेटा म्हणजे काय, तो डेटा आपल्याला कुठे कुठे मिळतो, कसा मिळतो. तर एक छोटीशी एक्सरसाइज आहे, क्विकली 1 मिनिटांची. 4 टर्म्स आहेत सगळ्यांच्या समोर: डेटा, इन्फॉर्मेशन, नॉलेज आणि विजडम. या 4ही टर्म्सना तुम्हाला एका लॉजिकल ऑर्डरमध्ये रिअरेंज करायचंय, आयदर असेंडिंग और डिसेंडिंग ऑर्डरमध्ये. म्हणजे सगळ्यात जास्त, सगळ्यात महत्वाचं काय ते सगळ्यात कमी महत्वाचं काय, किंवा आधी काय, आधी विजडम का आधी नॉलेज का आधी इन्फॉर्मेशन का आधी डेटा. You can enter your response in chat box. The idea is to understand how can we order these 4 terms: data, information, knowledge and wisdom. You can enter it in chat box. Information, data, knowledge, wisdom. Okay, fair. आधी माहिती, त्याच्यावरून डेटा. ओके, थँक्यू भक्ती. नॉलेज, इन्फॉर्मेशन, डेटा, विस्डम. थँक्यू. BMW एक कपिल तुम्ही हँडल करताय का? समीर. इन्फॉर्मेशन, डेटा, नॉलेज, विस्डम. डेटा, इन्फॉर्मेशन, नॉलेज, विस्डम. थँक्यू निखिल. Information, data, knowledge, wisdom. Information, data, knowledge, wisdom. Okay. ओके, ठीक आहे. अ गुड नंबर ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सेस. माझा एक छोटासा प्रश्न आहे टू बिगिन विथ ऑन दिस कन्व्हर्सेशन, की डेटा म्हणजे एक्झॅक्टली काय? अच्छा, कौस्तुभ सेज विजडम, इन्फॉर्मेशन, नॉलेज, डेटा. Okay, wisdom, knowledge, information and data. Correct. So Kaustubh and Narayan, are you saying is it ascending order or descending order? What comes first? Okay, Chaitanya. Okay, technical knowledge, wisdom comes first. Okay, wisdom. Okay, fair enough. So माझे 2 प्रश्न आहेत बेसिकली आता, की जर असं असेल तर रिव्हर्स ऑर्डर. ओके, ठीक आहे. पण आता बेसिकली प्रश्न असा आहे की डेटा म्हणजे नेमकं काय? डेटा म्हणजे ती माहिती आहे का अजून काही आहे? व्हॉट डू यू मीन बाय डेटा इफ आय हॅव टू स्टार्ट लुकिंग ॲट दिस एक्सरसाइज? Raw info, collection of events, things, raw information, facts. Okay, collection of information is data. Raw information. Okay, ठीक let's take an example. There is a town where there are 1,000 people. Now, is this information or raw fact? There are 1,000 people it's a raw fact, correct? So that means this is data, raw data. This is raw data for me. Now I'm going bit ahead and I'm going to say there are 500 males, 500 females. They live in this city. So am I giving a raw fact or am I giving some information about the facts? Okay. So knowing the gender details of population is specific information about data. Now, if based on this, if I understand the literacy rate of the village, will that be just an information or will it be something else? So I know much more than just an information. Okay, Narayan says information, literacy rate. A bit more information. Okay, fine. Samir says knowledge. Narayan, maybe can you give us a bit of your idea? Why do you call literacy rate is just an information, or maybe more information? Why so? Okay, till the time Narayan is giving it on a chat, I'll go ahead a bit. Okay, so we don't know what to do with that. So it is just some more info. Correct, correct. It's just some more info about the raw fact that there are the population of a village or town is 1,000. Correct. Unless it is useful for me, it's just information for me. So somehow we are going towards the possible logical order that first I collect raw facts or data. From data, I try and understand or extract some information. Now, how this information is going to give me some usefulness of this information. So if there are 500 male and 500 females, maybe, and if the literacy rate is very high, maybe I can start, I don't have to implement school level things or just literacy promotion. I don't have to do. I have to look at employment. This is giving me knowledge about what I should do with these 1,000 people. So once I have information, once I start asking right question to the information, I get knowledge. Now, what is wisdom? If I have 1,000 people's data, if I know that there are 500 male and 500 females, when I know that the literacy rate is very high, when I know that I have to do something about employment, what is wisdom here? Application of knowledge. Correct. So how to use that data? Maybe I have to break down what is the level of education each one of them have, what kind of employment opportunities I can give to that town. Um, does if the travel is there, should I implement infrastructure facilities or transportation facilities? All those things, when I start taking decisions, probably I will reach out to wisdom. And hence this is widely accepted and logically formed chain that data is in abundance, raw facts are in abundance availability in the world. We extract some information from the data that we have. From the information, we try and understand the usefulness of the information to me, and from the knowledge that I possess, I start taking some decisions, or I start taking some actions which converts them into wisdom. And that's why if you see the pyramid structure, data is in abundance and wisdom is in scarcity. So as in data, in terms of data science, you can call data are just features or just labels that you have. um, and wisdom is the recommendation that you bring in for implementation. So now another simple activity, let's match the pair. Most of us have played this Lego game. uh, if not Lego, then something else we have done. So what is data? So let's say if, uh, let me give you something. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. So uh, A4, data is 4, correct, fair enough. What is information? A4B3, information is 3, okay. What is knowledge here? C2, okay, okay, fine. And wisdom? D1, okay. Now I have a question. Okay, how many of you agree with C1? Knowledge is 1, okay. Ashish says knowledge is the first image. Okay, how many of you agree with this? So okay, fine, I agree with this part, that data is this. Now what is happening in image 3? What did I do in image 3? Classification, or I just sorted. It's a segregation of whatever Lego tiles I had. I just segregated it. Now what? Now by this, what information I get? That maybe there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 different color. There are Lego tiles with 8 different colors. So this information I got. Now what is there in image 2? Is image 2 knowledge about how to use this information? Logical grouping of data. So whatever I had here, I just is it logical, or is it just uh, another representation of what I already had? Because if I have to say logical grouping, then some logic is applied here in the segregation also. Or if I have to say knowledge about how to use this information, what knowledge I have gained here from image number 3 to image number 2? Do I get some specific information about image 4, or is just another form of representation of image 3? How many blocks we have and what we can do with that? What are we doing with it? Organize it. Yeah, applying the knowledge to represent the data in a different way. So we are just applying the knowledge. So knowledge here is not my previous knowledge. Knowledge has to come from the existing data. uh, if you look at these tiles, Lego tiles, and these image number 2 and 3, okay, so the data is organized. Apart from organized data, there is no difference between image 2 and image 3 is what I feel personally. What maybe more information I get is I might be able to count without any difficulty. And okay, so maybe let's consider image number 2 is a knowledge, or this goes here. What is image 1? Does this gives me any decision? Does this gives me any understanding of where can I use it, or uh, in particular how should I use it? Or let me put my question in a different way. If I have to show wisdom using Lego tiles, what I should, how that wisdom image will look like? It does give some interpretation. What kind of interpretation? Like image 1. Like image 1, okay. It gives some interpretation which I completely agree. But what understanding I have, apart from how many colors are there and how many uh, Lego tiles are there, uh, what understanding I have about this image? Proper structure. Okay. Kapil, you are saying wisdom will be like a proper structure. It helps me to take a decision. What decision you will take here? Narayan, based by looking at image 1, what kind of decision can be taken? Quantity number will give you conclusion of the data. Unfairly, I agree with this statement that it gives me conclusion of the data that there are red and yellow are they are more in terms of number of blocks. White and blue are almost same, and black, green, orange, and light green are very less in number. But apart from this, I don't get any other information unless I I use these tiles to make, let's say, a structure of maybe a chair, or I'm trying to show some letters out of it, or I'm trying to make a map that this is point A and this is point B, uh, and this is one way of going to point B, and there is one more way of going to point B. So if I show this image using this Lego structures, do you feel now it will make difference to your choices? What is knowledge and what is wisdom? If I show this image, this particular, will it make any difference to your choices of what is knowledge and what is wisdom? Any thoughts? Okay, it does makes a difference. What difference it makes? Because this particular part is very important to understand what we are trying to do with the storytelling. In storytelling, it is very important to understand what are we trying to narrate from the story. How different conclusions can be drawn from a single set of data. Okay, fair enough. So I'm just going to stay here. I'm going to go ahead and try and understand how this DIKW map works out. So let me go ahead of this. This is very interesting. So uh, now your task is to visualize this. Probably uh, there is a survey done for gender breakdown of data scientists, and the survey responses are like this. There are 16.8% females who are data scientists, 81.4% are male, 1.4% people decided not to select any gender, whether male or female, they don't want to specify. And 0.3% people said we don't want to, as in, we do not prefer anything. Uh, so if I have to showcase this data, how will I showcase? How will I make a visualization of this data? Maybe this is 16.8 is female ratio. This is 81.4 is male. 1.4 is do not did not specify, and remaining is this. Uh, so so the difference between did not select or specify is basically there was an option that I don't want to specify my gender, and did not prefer is like they did not select any of the three options. So if there were 1,000 people, 3 people said I will not select my gender itself, and almost 14 people said that I don't want to choose what my gender is. Rest of the people selected their gender, either male or female. So now, is this an information or knowledge? Now, what according to you is what I wanted to ask. Uh, any thoughts on this graph? It's an information. It's just a much more than data, but much lesser than knowledge. Uh, thank you. So now coming to the storytelling part. Now, what do you mean by story? Uh, Now, story for me is series of events. There are some events happening. Something is happening. There are emotions, and there is some interaction between the characters. Is a story. Now, why from this exercise I'm jumping to the story, because this does not gives me a story. Does this says female 16.8% females are data scientists? Can I confirm my hypothesis that there is a gender disparity from this data? Can I confirm? Okay. Sameer and Kapil says yes. Okay. But what if I had selected only 168 females in 1000? That was very biased decision that I took. That I will select more number of males and lesser number of females in my population, and then I will do this survey. Have I ever said what my population, how my population was chosen? Now think from a probability point of view. If my population selection was not random, if I was selecting, oh, I thought it's a random data, probably not. I cannot confirm. I cannot confirm it's a random data. Unless it is random data, I cannot confirm my hypothesis saying there is a gender disparity in data when we consider career as a data scientist. And hence, this does not give me the actual story, actual picture of what is reality. So something is missing here, and that's what I wanted to show. These are a couple of stories that are presented in terms of data. So when I was using Spotify some time back, if I have to say, then I used Spotify for these many minutes in 2017. Or I took rides in Uber for almost 406 miles in a year. Or the or here the Slack summary that I get for my Slack channels. It's like, this is what your performance is these many days, how many messages you have received. Now these are some of the points that the data highlights, that the uh, duration of what it is, from which duration I'm taking, how many messages were sent, how many messages were there in a channel, how many were direct messages, and how many files were uploaded by my team. Or it shows here what year I am looking at. It gives me exact number, how many minutes I have used, or maybe here how many. So my loyalty with Uber gives almost 3.5 years I have stayed with Uber. So these are a few of the examples of how the story is told through data. Now coming to this image, so there are two questions. What inference can you draw from the visual element, this pie chart that I have drawn? And do you feel it's complete? Is this chart complete? It's incomplete. Why? I feel it's not complete, correct? Why it is not complete, as in what is missing from here? No data sets mentioned. Absolutely perfect. Um, Labeling is missing. Don't know what is 19% and 81% is for. Fairly correct. Now I'm going no comparison. Okay. I'm going ahead and I want to show you this. So when we are talking about data storytelling using Excel or Power BI or Tableau, we we must we must begin with a question, because every story has uh, a central theme. That central theme is all can be a question or can be a sentiment. So the way I started this presentation, did I fail as a teacher? It was a question that I was asking myself, and I'm sharing this thought with everyone. My story should end somewhere. It should not go on, go on, go on. it should end somewhere with some concrete outcome. So there is a आपण लहान असताना आपल्याला जेव्हा गोष्टी सांगितल्या जायच्या तेव्हा त्या प्रत्येक गोष्टीला एक मॉरल असायचं. So that's where the story ends. There is some outcome of that story. Somewhere the credibility, honesty, being clear, being concise are the couple of points that we can always keep in mind. We also have to understand the audience, and here I want to share some basic fact with you. Back in September, I was supposed to train 1,000 teachers on artificial intelligence. The notification given by Central Board of Secondary Education to most of the schools was computer science teachers should attend the training. And when we started the training, I realized that more than 45% teachers are not from computer science background. My entire training plan collapsed right at that moment because I trusted the notification sent by government. Now in my training room, there were teachers from English, teachers who were teaching mathematics, teachers who were teaching physical education. And just because it was government notice, principals sent some teachers to the training without checking the background. Now, knowing the audience is very important because what I'm talking should also reach out to them in terms of terminology or the words that I'm going to use. As it is important for me to understand the audience, it is important for audience to understand the context from where these all things are coming. We need to tell a story. Honestly, we need to tell a story. A story should have a beginning. A story should have some middle part where there is some plateau in the story, like some hero is introduced, heroine is introduced. Now their love story is going on in the movie. Simple, plain structure, or some sort of anti-climax should happen, or something like that. And at the same time, it should give me some concrete explanation of what I'm trying to understand, what I'm trying to narrate. Now, in terms of data storytelling, there is this famous statement that explain with visuals and narrate with words. So your visuals should also be supported by some text, which was clearly missing in this. There was a visual, but there is no text. What does it represent? And that's why this brings me to the elements of data story, which are 6 primary elements: where, when, why, how, what, and who. So where is this happening? What is the context here? Duration, or what is the period of this entire data story that I'm narrating? Why I am narrating the entire presentation in terms of story? How this data was collected, how this data was processed, all those things needs to be told. What outcomes are expected needs to be very, very clear at the beginning. And my who part. Now, who part can be multiple things. It can be my customer. It can be my consumer. It can be my consumer. It can be my creator of the experience. So maybe I'm talking about my program. So there might be teachers or students. So how do I do it? Probably I need to know the data and the purpose. I need to craft my message, and I need to look at my data which is available for me. Now let's look at the other side of data storytelling. So this is how the recruitment procedure of Teach for India is narrated. What you get on websites is just this picture. If you look at this picture very closely, it is self-explanatory. Initially there is a CV, then you have some computerized test, then you have a telephonic conversation, and then there will be a group discussion. But what if I specifically mention in the words that there are 4 stages of interview? I have to apply with my CV, I have to appear for online assessment, then there will be a phone interview, and at the end there will be group discussion. Or I'm just taking reference point of PM Udyog Bharari Group, that there are 59% founders who are female and 41% founders who are male. Now, can I make a statement that Udyog Bharari Group is truly gender inclusive? Maybe I can say yes because I know the data. From your angle, you need to ask me the question that how is this data collected? I need to specifically mention here what data I collected and how I've reached to this conclusion. Otherwise, everything will be imagination or just the information. Now coming to this image, there is a project status. So it has all the qualities that I was trying to say. It has a text. It explains what this chart is. It has legends. Legends has different colors, and it gives specification how many tasks are delayed. Now my question to all of you is, does this tell me the status of my project, or does this gives me some better clarity of what I'm trying to explain here? Okay, so if it gives clear picture, then who is my audience here? Consider I'm presenting this graph to someone. uh, who is my audience here? Probably my superiors could be. Project name is missing. Okay, correct, project name is missing. Thank you, Chaitanya. Fair enough. Maybe I'm talking to my superiors, or I'm talking to my client, or I might be talking to my team also, who reports to me. Now this is another health status. It shows the health meter. The needle is at center, and the health status says in very clear uh, words, my project needs attention. Does this gives me some sense of urgency here, that my project needs some attention now? Maybe still the project name is missing, but is it better than this, or what alone is sufficient? Is the graph 1 is sufficient, or graph 2 is sufficient to give a clear picture to my superiors? Let's say 1. Okay, what if I show both the charts at the same time? Will this drive some urgency? Now this gives better, maybe. Yes, thank you, Nikhil. Graph 2 is better. Okay, and here are again perspectives. Here are again some understandings that we have to do along with the graph. Now this might give clear picture that this needs attention. Could be. But when I present these two graphs, they also know that how many activities are pending, how many tasks are pending. The chart number 2 doesn't gives me the exact number of activities or tasks which are pending in my project. If I put these two graphs together at the same time, then it might give me some picture that what is happening here. Or I might have to change my second graph. And now I'm coming back to my story. Did I really fail? So he is Mubin, and here is Sabir. I'm narrating you the story of an unreachable teacher who was not able to reach out to all the students so that they visit the school every single day. They do not miss the school even once in a year, even if they are not well. I was not able to drive the urgency or the uh, craving to learn something new. I had 91 students in my class, uh, fairly 200 days of instructional time with me. When I say 200 days of instructional time, that means number of days school was open, including exams, Diwali celebration, Eid celebration, and every festival. Average attendance of my class was 169 days. That means, on an average, um, more number of students were not present in my class. Or individual student was absent for at least 31 days in my class. Sabir was present for 110 days. Do you feel I was unable to reach out to Sabir so that he can come to school? I was not able to drive that urgency with Sabir and Mubin, as they were never able to reach to the school regularly. What is your opinion here? If you have to rate me as a teacher on based on this data, where you will rate me in terms of driving urgency among the students to attend the school? Any thoughts? I'm waiting for the answer. Insufficient information to rate. Some data is missing here. You could have contacted Sabir and helped to attend school, if I understand. Maybe this is the data. There are no assumptions here. This is the data that I have presented. People who are seeing some data is missing, you can ask me, from this graph only 2 students lag behind. Okay, okay, okay. Fair observation. Some data is missing. What data is missing here? Any guesses? So you did not fail as a teacher, maybe. I could have contacted Sabir and helped to attend school. Fair enough. I did try to reach out to him. Maybe the next data will give you some other picture, what I wanted to portray here. Attendance of Sabir over last 5 years. So when he was in first standard, he attended only 8% of the time. When he was in second standard, he attended for 13% of the time. And by the time he reached fifth standard, there was remarkable uh, growth in the attendance thanks to this particular stitching part, which was his earning. Even he is a child. He used to help his mother, and this was his earning. His mother used to stitch, and he used to help her. So the data can tell us numerous stories if we try and dig it down, and every story will give you some different picture. So in terms of data storytelling, today I wanted to show you this one of the good picture that I understood. It tells me the population of this country. It tells me the status of this education in, so Indian students going to US in 1516, in 1617. It also shares me uh, number of students, inbound and outbound degree seeking students here. There is a good measurement. If you see here, this particular last image is not filled. Here also the last image is not completely filled. I get some information over here regarding what degree, what number of people, uh, what stage they are at, and every other information. This also gives me final examination certificate achieved by students, which are the degree certificates, diploma certificates, and what kind of certificates are given. So a data storytelling should give us a clear picture on an average without letting us ask so many questions about the purpose itself. Now, the purpose is very clear: education in India, how it happens, what are the promises, what are the loopholes that we can understand from. And finally, one of my favorite picture for storytelling. Now, data storytelling can be at in every field. This is one of the picture by one of the astrophysicists. The observation of one of the galaxy shows the density of over 1 lakh stars in the view when it was captured. And I can say that if this is an galaxy somewhere, then towards one part the density is very high, and somewhere away from the center or the particular part, the density is very less, if I have to say so. So this is what data storytelling, from my perspective, is. I might have been able to narrate the right interpretation in front of you. So this is just the beginning. Maybe in the next session, we will try and understand how it can be done using different frameworks which are available, and and we will try and understand how it can be done using Excel, as simple tool as Excel. So this is the backdrop of storytelling with data, that you should have a purpose, you should have a clear understanding of where this data is going to go and what kind of outcomes are expected. It also should tell us the uh, connected story. It shouldn't leave any threads loose ended. If that is there, then then I might be able to narrate a compelling story to through my presentations, through my dashboards, because for me, data is not just Excel or a dashboard. It is much more than that. The more I dig down the data, the more I understand the nuances of that data. Thank you. Your questions, doubts, or suggestions?
Yeah, thank you, Shivaranjan.
Yes.
That was a good set of information. And I guess from the point of view of data, like how actually a data can lead or mislead to any conclusion, that is what it is explained, like you explained today. So yeah, so very nice. Thank you very much. So कोणाला काही questions आहे? Any doubt regarding data, uses of data? So Shivaranjan can quickly just clarify those doubts. Shivaranjan, one question.
Yes, yes.
How we can convert a misleading data to get some leading conclusion?
See, from what I understand is, it's not the data that misleads. The way we represent the data is a misleading. The interpretation of the data is misleading. So when somebody wants to represent the information or the data, raw data that we have, there are two things one must consider. One, am I looking at data, a complete data? One. So in case of the attendance, as I showed, I just showed the classroom attendance and 2 students attendance, but I never showed the last 4 years attendance of that particular child. So if I have to look at uh, really did Sabir come to school, has that improved or not, I have to look at his own attendance, not the class attendance. So
Correct.
with whom I compare my data is really important. And
Correct. Absolutely.
secondly, we generally, whenever something is asked, as in whenever somebody asks us to share the data or represent, make a chart, we choose either bar graph or a pie chart, without giving much thought to it, that does this um, uh, depict uh, the information that I really want to showcase. Now, that's what I'm going to cover in my session 2 of data storytelling, that how can you choose a chart, what type of chart you should choose, because that's very important. If I'm choosing a chart to showcase, a pie chart to showcase simply number of leaves taken by someone, might not give me correct data. Uh, Someone's attendance might be in red, or might be some small, but if you consider number of days, that number might be very significant. So we need to consider what we are doing comparisons, that is one, and second one is what kind of representation we are doing. That is most, these two things are most important. Because unless I have these 2 points very clear, I might not, I will always mislead my data. Because the funniest example given in education field is this, or the example of the coronavirus cases in India. So there was a point made by some of the politicians, that kindly do not consider overall numbers, just consider active cases versus recovered cases.
Correct.
It does not give right interpretation if I don't understand what I'm trying to do. Because recovery might be very high. As in, to give you a detailed example, Karnataka saw a sharp increase in number of cases in last 1 week. So for next 1 or 2 weeks, the recovery rate will be very low, because the recovery is 3 weeks from the patients which were identified 3 weeks prior, not 1 week prior. The recovery of patients which were found from the date, let's say 20th June to 30th June, will be seen or observed only after 15th of July. So data will always mislead you if you are trying to interpret what you want to interpret.
Correct.
That's the funniest part data
that's
can
what.
show us.
Yeah, that's what.
So
So
one should not seek what I want to interpret, but one should always seek what data is really trying to tell me. That's the thing. Okay,
yeah, that's
Bhakti
what.
has.
Correct.
I hope
Yeah,
that
Bhakti has one
I was
question.
able to answer. Okay. What are the tools to represent data other than Excel and PowerPoint? I think Excel is a very good tool to represent the data. Other tools, you can use Power BI if you are familiar with it. You can even use Tableau. You can use any other tool. Uh, but here we need to understand that data representation is not limited to a tool, but it is more of it is wide horizon for you to weave that story. तुम्हाला ती तुम्हाला ते कनेक्टेड दाखवावं लागेल. एक्सेल तुम्हाला फक्त नंबर्स देईल आणि फक्त चार्ट देईल. याच्या पलीकडे एक्सेल तुम्हाला काही नाही देणार, किंवा पॉवर बीआय किंवा अजून कुठचंही टूल घ्या, ते तुम्हाला तुम्ही सांगितलेला ग्राफ त्या फॉर्मॅटमध्ये देईल. याच्या पलीकडे टूल काहीच करत नाही. आपल्याला माइंडसेट प्रिपेअर करावा लागेल की मी कशा प्रकारचे क्वेश्चन्स माझ्या डेटाला विचारतो. डू आय आस्क व्हरायटी ऑफ क्वेश्चन्स टू माय डेटा टू अंडरस्टँड इज दिस इन्फॉर्मेशन करेक्ट. मी डेटा कलेक्शन करताना हायपोथेसिस डोक्यात ठेवून कलेक्शन करतो का माझं डेटा कलेक्शनच मुळात बायस्ड आहे. खूप एक्सलेंट उदाहरण देतो की आय थिंक माझ्या पहिल्या सेशनमध्ये पण मी हेच बोललो होतो की आमच्या एका केसमध्ये आम्ही खूप छान सर्वे करत होतो की त्या गावामधल्या लोकांचं बॅकग्राऊंड कसं आहे. आणि तिथे प्रॉब्लेम असा झाला की एक मुलगी होती आमच्या स्टीम मधली, ती गेली आणि तिने विचारलं की तुम्ही अल्कोहोल कन्झ्युम करता का. हा प्रश्न 8वा होता 17 प्रश्नांच्या यादीमधला, आणि तो तिने एका मेल फिगरला प्रश्न विचारला पब्लिक प्लेसमध्ये, घरात सगळ्यांच्या समोर. प्रश्न क्रमांक 8 पासून 17 पर्यंतच्या प्रत्येक प्रश्नाचं उत्तर नो होतं. आयडियली मधल्या 2-3 प्रश्नांची उत्तर त्याने येस द्यायला हवी होती, पण प्रश्न क्रमांक 8 पासून प्रश्न क्रमांक 17 पर्यंत प्रत्येक प्रश्नाचं उत्तर नो येत गेलं. आता या एका गोष्टीमुळे माझा कलेक्ट केलेला डेटाच मुळात बायस झाला आन्सर देणाऱ्याच्या साईडने. मी अनेक गावांमध्ये गेलोच नाही. याचं उत्तम उदाहरण म्हणजे हेल्थ केअर सर्व्हिस किंवा केली जाणारी टेस्ट, कुठच्याही रोगासाठी केली जाणारी टेस्ट. एक्सलंट एक्झाम्पल्स ऑफ हाऊ डेटा कलेक्टर इज बायस्ड. तो एखादा एरिया सोडूनच देतो की तिथे जायचंच नाही. कशाला कलेक्ट करायची तिथली माहिती? ते तिथली माहिती घेतली की माझे नंबर इकडे वाढणार. नको नको मला ते नको, मला काहीतरी वेगळं चित्र दाखवायचंय. सो आय एम ऑलरेडी बायस्ड व्हॉट आय वॉन्ट टू शो. सो with respect to data representation, I think as long as you are not your data is fairly static or um, fair dynamics is there, Excel is good enough. Live data set वापरत असाल तर तरीही एक्सेल वापरता येतं. यू कॅन गो अहेड विथ पॉवर BI मे बी. आणि मग खूपच जास्त स्केलवरती करत असाल काम तर मग अगेन वी गो बॅक टू डेटा सायन्स टूल्स, R, पायथन, SQL, ते सगळं बाकीच्या ज्या काही गोष्टी आहेत त्या. पण फ्रॉम अ डेटा रिप्रेझेंटेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्ह्यू यू मस्ट कन्सिडर आस्किंग राईट क्वेश्चन्स टू डेटा अँड व्हॅलिड क्वेश्चन्स टू डेटा. म्हणजे फक्त एकच प्रश्न विचारून भागायचं नाही तिथे, तुम्हाला बरेच प्रश्न विचारावे लागतील डेटाला. आय होप दॅट आन्सर्स. Any other questions?
Thank you, Shivranjan, for answering this question. अजून कोणाला काही क्वेश्चन आहे, काही क्वेरी? Okay, if not now, maybe in future,
Yes.
you guys may have some queries. So
Yes.
Shivranjan is available there, so he can answer your queries or doubts anytime if you just ping him. Yeah. Okay, Shivranjan, then I guess कोणाला अजून काही questions नाही आहे. So
Yes.
We can end today's session here.
Yes.
आणि
Thank
जर कोणाला काही पुढे काही questions असतील तर they can ping you in person and ask their question.
Yes. Thank you everyone. काही suggestions असतील.
Thank you, Shivranjan. Yes.
Thank you.
Suggestions असतील तर you can just directly ping Shivranjan and he can improve or improvise those things.